this video on understanding value at risk margin for equities. Before I proceed, let me tell you that this video has been created in context of the Indian equity market and how stock exchanges in India calculate value at risk margin for equities. With this, I will proceed and give you some flavor of how things work in Indian equity market as far as calculation of value at risk margin is concerned. Proceeding and giving you the first insight about value at risk margin. If you go to the website of National Stock Exchange, you will get an idea about value at risk margin applicable for different stocks. In this particular case, you can see that ITC, one of the known companies in India, has a value at risk margin mentioned here, which has broadly two components. One is the VAR margin and second is the extreme loss rate. And combination of both of them, which is the VAR margin and extreme loss margin, basically helps derive the applicable margin rate on a security. So what is the meaning of value at risk margin and extreme loss margin? That is something that we are going to discuss in this video briefly. So let me start by first giving you some insights about what exactly is the VAR margin. This slide gives a clear-cut description of value at risk margin. So value at risk means loss that an investment or portfolio can incur at a given level of confidence over a period of time. So if you have made investments in any stock, or if you have a combination of stocks which is there in your portfolio, using value at risk concept, you will be able to calculate how much loss that portfolio may have, say in one day at a particular confidence level, which could be, for instance, 99%. In other words, this means that we are X% certain that we will not lose more than Y amount in time T. So, this is an illustration of the same concept that I just shared with you. A VAR statistic has three dimensions or three components that we need to know. The first is the time period. So VAR is always calculated for a given time period. It could be one day, it could be a week, or it could be an year also. A confidence level, which we will elaborate as we proceed, but statistically speaking, a 99% level of confidence means that out of 100 times, 99 times the event or the outcome is likely to be within the projected range, while 1% time it may be outside the projected range or calculated range. And the loss amount is basically how much loss we are going to incur. So these three concepts together basically define value at risk. It is important to note that VAR is not the maximum loss. Okay, so value at risk does not mean that this is what is the maximum loss that an investment will have. It is maximum loss at a given level of confidence, and that is where it's very important to understand the difference. So when I say that at 99% level of confidence, in one day, my investment will lose 4%. What I am saying is that I am 99% confident in a way that the loss will be up to 4% in a day. However, the confidence level is not 100%, which statistically speaking cannot be. So, since the loss is calculated at 99% level of confidence, there is a possibility or there is a probability, statistically speaking, that loss may exceed 4%, as I just mentioned. So, having understood value at risk concept, let us move to the next component, which is extreme loss margin, as we saw in the two slides back where NSE had given margins of two types, VAR margin and extreme loss margin. Now, what is extreme loss margin? It is defined as margins to cover the expected loss in situations that lie outside the coverage of VAR margin. Now, this is very important to understand. As I mentioned earlier, VAR margin cannot cover the full risk. So, what we do is that we calculate extreme loss also and add it to the VAR margin. So, applicable margin rate on equities is in addition to the VAR margin, and it is basically a combination of VAR margin and extreme loss margin. Now the question arises, which is very important at this juncture, is that how are securities categorized for calculation of VAR? Are all securities subject to the same VAR? If not, then what is the method of categorization of the securities for calculation of VAR? Securities here are the shares of the company predominantly. So as far as the exchanges in India are concerned, they categorize security into three categories. First is the group 1, then group 2, and finally the group 3. So for a security to be in group 1, there is a condition, which is that the script-wise daily volatility calculated using a exponentially weighted moving average method, will be applicable for these securities. And it is said that once a security is a group 1 security, which I will elaborate at a later stage, the VAR applicable will be 6 times the volatility, which is calculated through standard deviation, subject to a minimum of 9%. So if a security is in group A category or rather group 1 category, it will be subject to a minimum of 9% VAR. Of course, it can be more than 9%, but the minimum would be 9%. If it is a group 2 security, then the parameter changes and there is a minimum requirement of 21.5% of VAR or 6 times the volatility, whichever is higher. So minimum requirement is 21.5%, but it can also be more than that. As far as the group 3 securities are concerned, for securities listed in group 3, VAR margin is 50% if traded at least once a week on a stock exchange. If that's not the case, then it will be 75%. Now, there is a requirement of the stock exchange that in case of group 3 securities, if the trading does not happen on a weekly basis and it will be monitored, the VAR margin will be increased to 75%. But if the security has traded during the day, okay, then VAR margin will be revised back to 50%. So it's basically, depending upon the trading, there is a fluctuation which is 50% and 75%. Moving further, since we have already categorized securities into group 1, group 2 and group 3, it's important to look at what are the parameters used for that. So as per SEBI guidelines, securities fall under group 1 with two broad parameters. Trading frequency over the previous 6 months should be at least on 80% of the days, and the impact cost, or in layman's term, the bid-ask spread of the security should be less than or equal to 1%. So when the bid-ask spread of a security is less than 1%, the security basically becomes very liquid. Okay, so impact cost is nothing but the measurement of liquidity. Okay, and it is measured through the bid-ask spread of the security. The securities which meet the first condition of trading on 80% of the days at least, but their impact cost is more than 1%, they fall into the second group. Okay, and illiquid securities which are traded on less than 80% of the days, they will fall under the group 3, as mentioned earlier, that there should be a trading at least once in a week. If it is not happening, the VAR applicable will be at least 75%. So how is the VAR calculated? It's a very important thing. We know that value at risk gives us an idea about how much loss an investment or portfolio will have. We have got to know by now that there is a time period which has to be looked at to calculate the VAR. Then we have the confidence level and the maximum loss. Now it's important to look at how is the VAR calculated. So VAR in Indian stock market for equities is calculated through a method which is called as exponentially weighted moving average method, or EWMA. This is something which is as per the recommendation given by J.R. Verma committee. If you refer to the calculation method of VAR, which follows the formula of EWMA, there are two factors to be looked at broadly. The first is the volatility of the stock, which is the historical volatility of the stock, and the second is the daily returns of the stock. As far as their weightages are concerned, 94% weightage is given to volatility on T minus 1 day, and 6% weight is given to T days return. So basically, the calculation is done with this method. Now remember, when we talk about exponentially weighted moving average method, it's very important to know that in the EWMA, or exponentially weighted average method, more weightage is given to the recent volatility than to the volatility which would have happened say 3 months back, because it is believed that a stock will mirror the recent trends more than what it would do for historical things. Okay, so in the formula for exponentially weighted moving average gives the weightage to recent events more than the previous or the past events. So as the time reaches from older days or previous days to the recent days, the weightage given to recent days volatility increases. Let me just take an example here to help you understand how the VAR would be calculated if you have some set of data points. So as you can see here, we are taking a share of a company which is XYZ. We have taken the volatility and the data with respect to the price. As you can see that the closing price of this stock is 380 on 1st January 2018 and 350 on 31st December. So using the price, the daily price change has been calculated through a function called as ln in Excel, and that is giving a value of 0.888224. We have the volatility, which is measured through standard deviation. Here we have used the exponentially weighted moving average method, where the volatility works out to be 0.414, which is basically 4.14%. Having looked at all these factors, which is the factor of volatility and the return, a formula has been used, which is basically based on square root of 94% of the weightage given to volatility, which is mentioned here, and 6% weight is given to the return, which provides the overall VAR, which has worked out to be 4.91% in this case. So this is how we calculate the VAR in the Indian equity market. I've just given you a brief overview. In case you will like to know more, please post your expectation in the comment box. I hope this video made sense to you. You can like my channel also and raise your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and thanks for joining.